I'm Lieutenant Israel. I work for the Salvation Army. I'm an officer for the Salvation Army, and I've been playing guitar for about a year and a half. And right now, I'm having a class with about 12 students that I have the pleasure to teach them. And some of the mistakes that I made in this year and a half, I want to make this video so you won't go through the same thing, because I didn't have instruction. I didn't have anybody to tell me how to get my first acoustic electric guitar or acoustic guitar, wherever you prefer. So I want to give you 10 tips very quickly, so you won't you won't have to go through the same mistakes that I did. So the first one, let's go straight to then budget. Make sure that you know how much you want to spend on the guitar. If you're really serious about guitar, buy the best guitar that you can buy for your money. This was my first guitar that I bought this Fender, and it was very cheap. I bought it, use it, but then I realized that it doesn't really sound too good. As I start learning more, I start seeing that it doesn't really sound that good. So buy the best for the money that you have. Don't go cheap on it intentionally, but buy the best that you can. The second thing is body shape. If you're just learning guitar, if you're just starting on guitar, don't pay too much of attention on body shape. You see different examples right here. We have a dreadnought, we have a cutaway, and the cutaway, it's easier to reach when you go down the neck. If you want to get a shape of a note, a chord in the bottom of the neck, that will be easier for you to come right here. But the most important thing of all is that watch the size that you buy. If you're a small person, buy a small guitar. I used to have a student here in the Salvation Army, and she was so little. She was the cutest thing, but she will barely be able to reach the guitar because she was so little, like I said. But she was playing a big guitar like this one right here, because it was her dad's guitar. So buy the shape and the size according to your comfort zone. So go to a guitar store, try different ones and see each one that feels more comfortable. The next thing is the brand. You go shopping, and you're going to see there's several brands in stores, dozens of different brands: Gibson, Martins, Taylors, Alvarez, and the list goes on and on. Fenders. Again, you have to go there and try different ones. I tried Fenders. Like I said, this is a Fender. This belongs to our Salvation Army here. I tried that Fender. Then I owned a Martin for a while, but I ended up sticking with the Gibson. And I can't say that the Gibson is better than the other ones, but for my purposes, the Gibson is the one that sounds better for me. So I stick with the Gibson. Next thing I want to tell you is buy an acoustic electric guitar if you're starting right now, because you never know. Maybe you start getting better. God gave me skills and patience and strength, and I keep learning, and now I'm able to play with the praise and worship group here in our church. And if you have an acoustic guitar only, you're going to have a mic in front of your guitar, which is nothing wrong with that, but you got to be really careful so you don't bump your hand in the mic and things like that. But if you have an acoustic electric, like this one is, the Gibson is acoustic electric. I don't know if you can see it, but it's an acoustic electric guitar. That's going to help you in the long run, because you never know. Maybe you start playing with other people in the band, and it will be very beneficial to you to be able to plug an amp in your guitar. So if you can, buy with acoustic electric. Next thing is strings. Now, I have different gauges. That's an Adario light gauge. I have a Martin coated light gauge. I have this Martin medium gauge, and I have some LXI, also medium gauge. I tested. I used 6 or 7 different gauges, and not current in my Gibson right here, my Gibson Hummingbird, I have a medium gauge. My advice to you is use a light gauge, so you start building calluses in your finger, and then once you start getting better, then move to a different gauge, as you prefer. But try different ones and see which one you like the most. The next thing is that many people don't really care about this, but a strap button. Okay, this guitar, when I bought it, it was only one strap button. I don't know if you can see it, but there's no strap button in here. Okay, in the top, there's only a strap button right here in the bottom. And for many people, that's not a big deal, because when you buy a strap, you can also tie the strap right here, and it works the same way. But for me, I noticed that when I tap the strap right here, instead of having a strap button right here, the guitar was swinging back and forward. So when I bought my next guitar, I made sure there was a strap right here in the bottom of the neck, and there was a strap in the bottom. And to me, when I start getting better now, I have to stand up to play my guitar. It was better. I felt that was the guitar was more stable. So take it for what's worth it. But I say to you, get a guitar with 2 strap buttons. Buy a case for your guitar. You know, my Gibson came with this case, and it was one of the best things that Gibson include a case to their guitars. I keep some of the paperwork. I keep some of the strap. I have a couple picks inside here. So if you're gonna buy a guitar and you pretend to keep that guitar for a while, buy a hard case for your guitar. It's a good investment. You won't regret. The next thing I want to tell you is buy a guitar that sounds good. Okay? Buy a guitar that sounds good. And if you can find one that sounds good and also look good, that's a plus. Like this one right here, I was blessed to find the one that looks good and also sounds good. But many times when you go to a store and you have a limited budget, you're going to have all those pretty guitars, but when you actually go and you play, it may don't sound as good as some other ones that maybe are not as pretty. So if you're going to buy a guitar, make sure you go for the one that sounds good. Buy a tuner for your guitar. There's nothing worse than play a guitar that's out of tune. Maybe in the beginning you don't realize, but once you start playing more and more, you're going to realize that your guitar doesn't sound the way it should. I have 2 examples right here. This one is the one that you put on your lap and you tune your guitar. This one is the one that you clip in the head of your guitar like this, and it picks up the sound and the vibrations of the guitar. So buy a tuner. That's very important. You can also buy like pedal tuners, which is you need to have an acoustic electric guitar to plug to the tuner, and you're going to be able to get a more precise tuning with that. Don't use apps from smartphones. They don't really do a terrific job. And the other thing is buy a cable, and you may don't know what this is, and you may do. I'm not going to go to the technical part of why to buy a cable, but when you have a cable and you put it on a fret, it sounds different. Now put it like in the 5th fret. So when you're learning guitar and you start learning and then you start getting comfortable and you start playing and singing at the same time, many times some chords will be too high or too low for your voice or for somebody else that's accompanying you. So if you have a capo, that will help that person or you help yourself to be more comfortable with the music, and you're going to find a comfortable range for your voice. And the last thing that I want to share with you is that when you buy a guitar, especially if it's an expensive guitar, many of the local shops, they offer you insurance. They're going to say if you pay this much money, we're going to cover against damage. But I went to my State Farm local agent, and I hope they're watching this. And if you're watching this, State Farm, send me a check because I'm about to do some big propaganda for you guys. But I went to State Farm and I said, look, I have this guitar. It's kind of expensive. I would like to insure my guitar. And they said, sure, absolutely. We're going to put an insurance on it against damage, against lost, or if it's stolen, anything of that nature. And let me tell you, most of the local shops, they don't want to let you know that because State Farm charge one-third of the price that the local shop where I bought this Gibson was wanted to charge me for insurance. And State Farm is pretty good because I have things stolen in the past, like photography equipment. And when I called, and they didn't even ask any questions. They just asked me what happened. I told them what happened, and they said, "What do you want? Do you want me to send a check, or you want me to send another piece of equipment?" And that, to me, that trust that they have in the people, it speaks volume about the company. So if you buy a guitar, if your guitar is expensive, get an insurance with your guitar. Once something happened, you're gonna thank me and you're gonna say that was a good thing. So this is it, guys. There's a couple tips that will help you to not make the same mistakes that I made it when I bought my first acoustic guitar. Like I said, by no true, I hold all the answers. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions, or if you remember something that I forgot to cover, leave a comment in the comment section. And subscribe if you like this video. And I pray that God will continue to give you strength, continue to give you patience and time to continue to learn guitar. It's a beautiful instrument, and to me it's almost like an art, and you can worship the Lord with those skills that He gave it to you. So thank you so much. God bless you, and have a great day.